When I was 25, if someone had told me, follow your bliss, I wouldn't have known what the hell they were talking about. I would have been like, what the are you talking about? I was too busy following my weed. I had no idea who I was, what I wanted, what animated me from within. All I knew was what I didn't want and what was making me incredibly unhappy and who I was told I was. And up until that point, what was making me unhappy was the life that I was living and the person that I was. And then it occurred to me at 25 that, well, if I don't know who I am and I don't know what I want, I do know what I don't want, and I do know who I don't want to be, which is what I have right now and who I am right now. So perhaps if I started making choices and decisions that I hadn't made before, instead of repeating the ones that I had been repeating for years, then that in itself might move me away from where I am now. And as I move away, perhaps it'll become clearer to me who I am and what I want. If I create enough distance between what I'm doing right now and who I am right now, maybe somewhere in that gap, I will start to get a greater sense of who I am and what motivates me to engage life. But I had no idea what my bliss was. I didn't even know what that was. And if someone had said that to me, I probably would have wanted to punch them in the face. So if you're in a position right now where you have no clue who you are, you don't know what you want, but you do know what you don't want, and it's what you're getting now, and you do know who you don't want to be, which is the person you are now, then perhaps simply looking at the steps that have gotten you where you are right now, the choices and the decisions you've been making for the past few years or however long it's been, perhaps if you start doing things you've never done before and allowing a little bit of chaos to enter your present situation in order to create a gap for yourself between who you've been and who you may be in the future, then as things start to change, as they will, of course they will, if you start making different choices and decisions, something's going to change. And you may not know what that is, and it may be messy for a while, but it can create enough of a gap for something in you to speak to you and start moving you in a more positive direction. If you don't know who you are or what you want, that's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. Many people are in that position. And when I was 25, I was absolutely in that position. And then at 32, for the first time, I stepped onto a stage in a rock musical, and that was part of my process of when I was 25, I started just making completely different decisions that I'd done up until that time, and taking risks and allowing myself to be comfortable with a bit of chaos and uncertainty. And out of that, eventually came an understanding that what animates me from within is storytelling. But when I was 25, remember, I couldn't function without marijuana. I couldn't function without numbing myself. The idea of performing, of storytelling, of being in front of an audience, it's even just to think about it stuns me a little, because it was just so far removed from who and what I was. I was living for being stoned every day, chain smoking 50 to 60 cigarettes a day. I couldn't function. I found it hard to leave the house because I was so paranoid, peeking through the curtains if anyone came to the door, refusing to answer the phone because of fear of who it might be on the other end. Finding it difficult just to leave the house, having to check, double check, triple check, make sure that everything was locked in case someone tried to break in. make sure I turn the oven off, turn the iron off, making sure that I butted out all the cigarettes, checking out the ashtrays to make sure that they're all butted out in case I left and the house burnt down. I mean, sometimes you have to admit to yourself that you're completely lost, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know who you are. But in that moment, you can still work out what you don't want, who you don't want to be. Look at the choices and the decisions you've been making that keep you stuck in that place, and then just start doing things you've never done before. And that in itself can be a really, really powerful thing. It's okay to not know who you are. It's okay to not know what you want. It's okay to be afraid. And it's okay to be uncertain and to not know what you're doing, and to make choices and decisions that, again, you don't know what you're doing, except that it's something that you haven't done before, and you're on that journey of discovery. You're on that journey of creating a pathway for that hero within you to start to leak out a bit and start to inform you about who you are and what animates you from within. Hi, I'm Will Kelly. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing to my channel, and if you know anyone who this video may help at all, please feel free to share it. And until next time, I trust this video finds you well and happy and doing something in your day that you love to do. Bye for now.